you don't mind, we'll go through this at whatever pace you guys would like to go on. Lights off?
Also, they see your pictures better.
Oh, they can. I'll let that
Lights
go.
on?
Lights off?
Alright.
Is it better if I turn this off?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Okay.
I think that's my opinion.
Which is fine, and if I can't read the right words, I'll just make it up as we go. So again, I'm Patty Hindenbrand, and we just want to talk about some of the different experiences we've had on our missionary journeys. And today we're talking about Chicago. So, you may not know this, but most of our team is here. So if you don't mind, Chuck, Patty, can you come forward?
Yeah.
Mr. Paul, come forward for a second. Can you
Okay.
do that? Just to say hello.
Come on, Claudia.
Sure. We have a couple key members missing, but we'll pretend they're here. Ready? All right, so we met on the way to Chicago,
Yes.
right? Very good.
Okay.
Alright,
And pretend there's Kevin still here. So wait. So Claudia, introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm Claudia, and, what do you want me to say?
Well,
Oh,
anything
my
you want.
background, yeah, okay. My background is Chinese, so, yeah, I'm glad to do this mission because this is the first time mission trip in my life, so it was a great experience for me.
But you've come here, how long have you been coming to Memorial Park?
2016,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm Chuck Cudlip. This was my first mission trip too, and it was very rewarding. I think we were all blessed by it, and I think we blessed the people that we saw. It has given me, you know, a new outlook on some of the things that I need to do, like volunteering at a secondhand store and just, you know, ministering to the local people. That's I'm kind of in my own little world most of the time, but when we went to Chicago, I realized that I need to reach out to other people.
That's true. I'm Patty Hildenbrand, and this is my first mission trip as well. And we made a little family for a week. I mean, really, Claudia and Chuck and Kevin Steele, who was here, pretend somewhere here, and Paul and I became a family. We did everything together. We lived together, we served together, we got to know each other. And another member of our team, Maggie Power from Chicago, is not here, pretend she's here also. We got to know her and her grandson, and we had a wonderful time serving together. It's just something you can't experience until you do it yourself. And I'm sure each experience is different, each trip. And all the people have gone on trips here before, but it really is rewarding, and I would not exchange it for anything.
It's my first mission trip to Chicago, and we really thought that a regional trip would help us see not only the needs there, but that we can apply the same thing here, right? I mean, newsflash, right? But there's nothing like experience as a good teacher, and gosh, you just testified to that, Chuck, and it was really great. I really enjoyed it.
I agree. All right, so now you see our team. Very small, but powerful team. The Spirit was with us. God was around us the entire week. Thank you guys for joining us today. All right, let me give you a quick overview in case you don't know who I am. So I happen to be an elder at church, yes. I've been a deacon here before. I've been here for almost 40 years. And I kept saying at some point in time, I will have the opportunity to go to a mission trip. And there have always been opportunities. Out the wazoo. How many opportunities are there at Memorial Park Church? There's a lot. But personally, there's just sometimes you just can't go. We send our children on mission trips. We send whatever. We support the missions, but it just never seemed to work out. But somehow God said, this is the one for you. So knowing I have a lot of responsibilities with, you know, grandkids and my father and just everything going on in the world, having the opportunity to say, yes, everything in my life settled down. It wasn't necessarily settled at the point in time I decided to say go. I had to say, hey Paul, parenthetical, just in case I have to cancel. Because something happens to whomever.
Yeah, like Deb Waldman was gonna go and she had to cancel.
A lot of people did
Yeah.
have to, it happens, right?
Wow.
But this
Stuff
one,
happens.
yeah, but God lined everything up, so I was actually able to leave Pittsburgh for a week. And I was not saying the word disturbed, but God took care of all the pieces. There's a lot of pieces in my life. He took care of all the pieces, so I could sit there and be immersed in what He wanted me to do, and what I wanted to see, and how He wanted me to be involved. And that really was a miracle. It doesn't happen often. So, anyways, here we are. We are now in Chicago, and this is our little team. Kevin Steele was here as well. And then the next piece, if you don't mind, go to the next page. We met our next team member, Maggie Powell. Maggie Power was the urban plunge coordinator in Chicago. She became a close friend and a team member on moment one. What happened with this mission trip, and I think a lot more coordinated with people who are on the ground in the area you're going. So Maggie lives in Chicago. She works for Urban Plunge, which is a subset of Christ of the City International. And she knew we were coming. She'd already prepared a general itinerary of how these different other missionary teams throughout the Chicago area needed assistance. And say, if I have a small group of these people with these types of abilities, where can we help? So that the people who are actually on the ground in Chicago can do what they do best. We did the supplemental things to help them help others. And it was phenomenal what we were able to do. Maggie did a great job of planning things. Again, she was a team member. We started each morning up by re-blowing up our air mattresses if they would have sunk in the middle of the night, which happened, I think, to all of us at least once, and some people more. We packed our little lunches out of what Maggie had provided for groceries, and we made our little sandwiches, put them in little paper bags, towed them with us with our drinks, put them in coolers, and off we went every day based upon where Maggie thought we were called to go. This is an example of us getting ready to jump in the van, and who knows where we're heading on that day. But this is our little team. The first place we went was Ellen Christian Services, and this is all my summary of what I thought it was. It's not like taken off of their marquee, but it's like a daytime services for adults with, and on their advertising it says disabilities with an X across gifts. They certainly had abilities, many abilities, and more abilities than I could possibly imagine. And what we did at that location was that they actually collect and they distribute donated school supplies as a warehouse and a distribution center to actually serve the people in the community with those different various schools. Look, schools like I need to have 52 boxes for elementary. We crate them up. We did a lot of things. I'll show you what we did in a minute. But the idea, these people actually had like a daytime center. They were dropped off in the morning. They did different things to help whatever the need was. We were packing boxes, organizing things. They had some fun time, dancing, learning activities and crafts. They had lunch together. They did things in the afternoon and then they went home. So it's a daytime center for these people with abilities. So here we are arriving the very first minute. We go to the next page. You can see how we were greeted so warmly. We walked in the door and right away people were coming up to us saying, "Thank you for coming," introducing with names. They were very anxious to meet us and we were anxious to meet them. You can keep going, Mr. Hindenbrand. This is the warehouse we were working in with them. A lot of them joined us. There was a volunteer. Who wants to go to the warehouse? And these people would say, "Yeah, I want to go, I want to go." And we made fast friends. We had so much fun, basically organizing the warehouse, creating pallets of boxes per each school's request. I went for 2 boxes of this or whatever. And we organized, got it all wrapped up. But we just had a blast as we worked. Okay, we can keep going, Wayne. Here's us palleting boxes, figure out who needs how many based upon an order form, and keep going. And we had fun. We had so much fun. We worked, yes, but we had such a relationship. This is Cheryl. She was a blast. I think we all love Cheryl. There's so many people who could point out through life. You can keep going, Mr. Hildebrand. Here's an example of what we palletized. So it might say, what is this for elementary school? How many we have per pallet height? And it's going to school number A or something. We keep going, Mr. Hildebrand. We danced, we sang, we had a good time while we're moving boxes around. Okay. There's some selfies. Paul was the coordinator for the actual warehouse. There we go. Afterwards, we decided to do a little bit of fun. So I was doing Dance as Revelation, which I don't dance very well, but I was having fun.
You're
with
great.
Cheryl.
That was
There
awesome.
we go.
Come on.
And we just had a great time.
Yeah.
After that, and actually at that point in time, we also had lunch with these people and had a chance to socialize and really had a wonderful morning. I felt like we actually built very quick relationships and it opened our eyes to people with special abilities. In all honesty, I think if we would have done that ourselves, without our special friends, we may have gotten accomplished. Sure, I can palletize things, I can pack things. The fun and the love would not have been there. We forget. We forget the simple things. And that brought that joy to us. The second place we went that day was the Bridge Teen Center. And this was awesome. It's sometimes after school, between breaks, summer activity center for teens. It's an awesome space, which you see some pictures, that gives options for teens to go and be together. They socialize in a safe, comfortable environment lots of things to do. They can build safe relationships in a phenomenal space. They have music, art, sewing, kitchen, socializing. You'll see a couple pictures. And what's interesting is they're funded by, yes, some donations and some grants, but a lot of the money comes from they're collecting used items, sorting it and putting it in a beautiful thrift store. I mean, Macy's kind of quality. I mean, it's so organized, so clean. I was impressed. But that funding and everything in the store is $1. No matter what it is, you pick it up, it's $1. It's simple. Nothing complicated. You want it, grab, fill your bag, $5. You know, $6.
And nothing's junk, it's all
It's
nice
really
stuff.
nice stuff. We sort through a lot of stuff, we grab things. Okay, we'll go through some pictures, and let me just read you the mission here. So the mission is to provide free programs during after school and unsupervised hours where students can develop mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually in a safe environment. And they connect all these people together. And they have concerts, they have sewing classes. You can start going through the pictures one at a time if you don't mind. They have a stage there and all this equipment, so they can learn to play guitar, and then you actually jam with your friends. It is really connecting. Next page, this is happens to be a craft room. What would you like to do? I'm not an artist, but I could see it. I was just overwhelmed how much you could do. This beautiful space. This is all just a warehouse and someone really figured out how to organize it. This is the game room. We have posters on the wall, actually all signed by the actors.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay. It's awesome. Next page. They have the garage. You learn some tools and some skills. There's a sewing room. You'll keep going. There's a kitchen, so you can learn skills how to eat well, prepare foods and things. And you sign up for classes. And then they actually have a little wee corner where if you're in high school, you show your ID to get in, because junior high's not allowed in there. But it gives them a special place, right? And you can see how our kids could come here and slowly build the family that they may be missing. And what we did there was we actually had the introduction of what their center was. We went through a bunch of donations, literally, piles of donations, going through it, inspecting it literally. And if there's a single thread out of place, it was into a different pile. But it was absolutely perfect. Then we actually went ahead and got it all wrapped and stored, and it was put into the thrift room. Again, everything for $1. And they raised, I think it was $3 million a year, or $1 million a year just by doing this. So it was wonderful.
Wow.
The next place we went was called Filling the Gap. And there was a husband and wife, Mike and, oh my goodness, I know their names. Help me.
Oh my gosh, I want to say Cheryl, but that's not it. Yeah.
I'll remember, here's something.
Yeah.
But they found a place where they were trying to help people who are leaving either drug addiction centers or incarcerations. And even if people were willing to donate money, say, I'll help you get on your feet here, we'll help you get rent, we'll help you get a house, whatever you need to fill out. I'll talk more about a structure for shelter, but there was no place to rent. The money was coming in, but there was nowhere that people would rent houses because they didn't have any kind of credit background, you know, they didn't have deposits, they didn't have. So the gap was, there was money to help people, there are people who needed help, but there's no one willing to provide a house, an apartment, whatever it may be. So this couple decided to start buying houses and renovating them, and then allow these people to live there. And it wasn't just here's a place to live. They were also saying, and I will actually personally be your helper in regards to learning finances, and get back into actually some type of educational program to figure out where you want to be in life and get you there. It truly was a buddy system that you're part of their family. And yes, here's my house that you're gonna live in, and I will come alongside of you, and we will actually fill the gap together until you can actually get your own apartment, get whatever you want, and have a credit or whatever to be in the norm. And that gap is being filled by them. And they have, at this point in time, 2 houses. One is being housed by a girl named Christine, and she's actually expecting twins anytime soon, and she had 2 of the children. And we organized some gifts that she received from a baby shower. So we went to her house, and we organized the gifts, and we kind of cleaned the house a little bit, and we got to get to know her and her son and her daughter a little bit. And we had a barbecue. And we met other tenants in another house that this couple had created from Fill the Gap. And it was Brooke and Danny, I think.
Yeah,
I have it all written down here.
Yeah.
But just meeting them, and you could see where they're just wonderful people like us. Something happened to, and they had to go from here to here, and they couldn't get through that gap. And this is how the Fill the Gap people went out and bought these. And again, they only have 2 houses at this point in time, but they're going on, and they're going on, and they're making an impact to these people directly. If you wanna go through here, here's Claudia cleaning the kitchen, getting ready for a barbecue. We'll keep going. Here we're going, that's Mike. And Christina's in the back expecting. Here we are just getting ready for the food and just talking. And this happens to the house they renovated. And then this is the family. So Christina's due any time now. Actually, she probably would have it right now. And other son. And we had a wonderful time just getting to know them. And when we met tenants of the other houses, the one girl, Brooke, we got to visit them all at this little barbecue. But what's interesting is we're keeping in contact with text. And Brooke was just baptized 2 weeks ago. So Maggie, our coordinator from Chicago, texted like, oh, by the way, Brooke just was baptized. And they're on their way from here to here. And they're filling the gap with a lot, not just a place to stay, but the support to get them going. So very emotional. All right, so then that night, we had a huge storm. So this is when Chicago was hit with what would be tornadoes or extremely bad weather. But no one did anything they were expected to do that day in Chicago. No one is going anywhere doing the normal thing because trees were down, power was out. We ourselves had no power. And yes, that night I found Claudia. I was like, Claudia, the lights are out. Where are you? Because we were living in the basement of a church. And I'm walking around with myself. I was like, I wonder if she has a cell phone with a flashlight. Because where are we? Or where are you? I found Claudia, went back. We all decided we're going to stick together in one room for the guys and the girls just until we think the storm ended. Sounds good, okay. We're still side by side with the divider in case something happens. Get out the next morning, all the fascia's gone off the church, power's out. Not good.
Continues.
Yeah. So Maggie finds us a second place to go because we need power to keep over stuff. So we actually moved to a different location. And we ended up at Restoration Ministries, which is one of the places we were gonna go to serve anyways. Restoration Ministries has multiple locations with multiple high-level goals and low-level goals. Basically support the needs of a whole family as people restore their lives after incarceration or whatever issue they may be having. They provide education for youth. We actually support their facilities. They actually have classes for elementary kids. We saw the posters on the wall and the crafts and the activities. They have a fresh vegetable garden, a food pantry that people can come in and help themselves to. And they also provide activities for youth, such as boxing. And they are winners of boxing. Their trophies were large. They have a professional dance studio with a bar and the mirrors and lights. They have painting, pottery, music. People, again, get these kids to do something. Get them active. Let them feel that they are accomplished and that they are truly blessed with some type of gift and let them enjoy life. So we were at Restoration Ministries and they found that we did not have any power. They said, you can stay in our boxing ring. Like, okay, boxing ring. And it's right beside the train tracks in South Chicago, right? So yes, Kevin still did walk outside with me and we checked all the doors to see if they actually opened and closed and locked and things. And believe it or not, we actually got comfortable in the boxing ring. We lived in the boxing ring for the rest of the week. So if you'll go through this.
I slept on the boxing, in the boxing
Yeah, you actually
ring.
went ring, yeah.
Yeah, my mattress kept deflating, and I'm like, I'm sleeping right on the boxing ring where Olympic boxers fought, and every night I thought of that.
It was cool.
It was cool, yeah.
But here's an example of Chuck and Kevin and I guess some of the helpers actually
that's
working in the
me.
garden. Is that you ever recall?
Yeah.
I guess so. Okay, clean up the garden. The local people help themselves with vegetables. And Claudia and I were actually, if we keep knowing, Claudia and I were actually doing the beautification of the front entryway. Just untwining things that were kind of in their beautiful garden. We'll keep going. And we were actually down in their food pantry in the basement also, just organizing donations that came in from Target, whomever was donating, Walmart, and just putting things in freezers and putting things, or babies were over here, vegetables over here. So as people needed things in the pantry, they could go down and help themselves. That's a big freezer full of food. All right, keep going. And this happens to be Barry, one of the men that happens to be in the Fill the Gap using one of those houses. Wonderful man, live above Brooke. And there we are, saying hello to our new friend. And this is where we live for the next several days. There is the boxing ring on one side over here, the Harvey boxing ring, and over here is all the art centers. So we'll go in, and that's us going inside, saying this is our new home. And they're from Mount Lido, Restoration Ministries, restoring people, rebuilding communities. Again, keeping you together. This is the box right?
It's my bedroom, guys. Yeah, man.
So here's the guys with sleeping bags and the air mattresses. We have a little refrigerator back here, a couple bathrooms here. This is the guys kind of took out, and then the next page would be Claudia and I. There we go. So Claudia's up here. You probably can't see. She has a mattress up here on the dance stage. I chose the dance mirrors with the bars and things. Where I was going to say, this is my stuff. This is our home. This is where we stay.
Yeah.
That's great.
But you can see the quality of the art they also offered on the art side, the beautiful paintings that these children are making. You can keep going once you get through them. There's pottery, I'm not an artist, so I can't do it all art, but they're very, very, very busy. And during the day, we cut our stuff to the corners, and then the kids would come in and do what they're doing, and I would pull our mattresses back down again. You can keep going. And here's they actually have the dance outfits, beautiful outfits. Again, a whole rack of guitars and drums and keyboards the kids are learning to use. And then we went on to the next place, which is Chicagoland Prison Outreach. I'm not sure, I don't have a little tab on that one, but we'll keep going. Have that, or start with that. And what they're doing is providing career training for those looking to start a new life from after incarceration. They provide education for several career paths such as carpentry or welding, like serious skills. They give you the math background and the understanding what you need to actually be a successful carpenter or welder. They also have a fresh vegetable garden and a food pantry. I think I copied from the wrong page, but keep going, Wayne. And here's an example of they're moving things from the carpentry shop because they're actually moving some things around on the location and between locations. We also have the perimeter of this location has a cyclone fence somewhere that they would like for us to actually expose, because at this point in time you can't even tell the building exists. It's quite overrun. So Chuck is in there taking the first whack at, there is a fence somewhere behind here. We'll keep going. And he's getting, okay, some fence has been exposed, but how do we actually get through this jungle? And Chuck did a great job. And then Paul tries his hand on, we got more fence exposed, we keep going. And we even had, in this case, Elisha. He is Maggie's grandson who came in and he helped us for several days. Hands in, all dedicated. He helped as much as we did. He went to dinner with us. Wonderful young man.
Good kid.
Yep. Here we go. We're up on ladder, we're down below. See, it takes a lot. The jungle's like being pushed back. We'll keep going. Chainsaw comes. We start making more progress. Now we're making serious progress. Next. Along the way, stop. As you can tell, we're seeing, you can see more, right?
There's a fence
There's a
there.
fence. There'll be a fence there. Okay, next page. And there we are. We have the fence, we have the signs you can see, you can actually see where you're going. And on the next side, we found a mailbox. There's actually a mailbox here. We pushed this all back, found the mailbox, and almost got to the edge of the property there. Again, this was nothing earth-shattering, but it allowed the people who could actually do the work to serve the people that they need to do. Whether it be filling the gap, teaching skills, taking care of children, teens, whatever they were specializing on, we were just helping them so they could specialize in what they wanted to do. All right, next page. So then we went to Feed My Lambs. And Feed My Lambs, that was an awesome, these are all awesome experiences. I just felt like this week went on for a month. It really did. Not in regards to, but it was like so much that God put into our little life, right? So Feed My Lambs, this little girl, woman, Anne, so much energy in such a small package. She is so blessed. These are normal people, just like us. We're not rocket scientists talking, these are normal people who saw a need, figured out how they might be able to do something, and then God blessed their efforts into huge ministries. Feed My Lambs, and basically coordinates receiving of donations, again, from Walmart, Target, wherever she's getting them, food, and delivers them grocery bags full of food to people who need them. She has a little truck she delivers them in, and people can come into that area and actually pick them up. And she also distributes bags with prayer cards and spiritual support pamphlets. We'll go to the next page, and this is how she delivers her bags. She fills them a whole thing and just goes out and drops off grocery bags, or people can come into her location. The next page, we'll go. Here we are. So we have all kinds of things that have been kind of pre-organized onto like a conveyor belt attitude, right? And we're saying, okay, we're gonna get grocery bags, and we'll start filling with 2 of these, and she tells me, 2 of these, 1 of those, 4 of those, like, okay, yes, and she has this plan. We have some, people helping us. Ava was like a teen helper who came into the neighborhood. We have, I think it's Diane, I have her name right now also, who was a, teacher during the school year, but comes in during the summers to help these bags being filled. Of course, there's Chuck and Kevin, so we'll keep going. There we are, just getting our bags, walking around, 2 of these, 4 of those. Keep going, and the bags are starting to come out on the right-hand side, you can see. And there's little Anne, she's wonderful,
Yeah.
and Elisha. And we have more bags are coming out. Keep going. And ta-da! Before you know it seems like a couple minutes later, we have, it was like, it seems like grocery bags full of just grab and go, grab and go. And then here we're working with prayer cards and the spiritual gift bags. So again, we have some literature being pushed in there, so as people are getting their bags, they don't like, they can take a packet of literature, and not knowing that the person might be doing it, there's things about suffering, loneliness, prayers, who is God, who is Jesus, all kinds of little things like, we don't know you, you don't know us, but there might be something here for you. So there's 100 of these being prepared. Okay. And then we decide, and what's amazing is that in Chicago, between all these ministries, they know each other, and they work together. Like, we were part of this bigger family of people who were in Chicago knowing there were needs, and that they wanted to help whomever they could help. So in this case, someone said, oh, we could use something, and Anne goes, well, I have. So all of a sudden, now we're loading things from Anne's extra storerooms, and it goes down for a long time, things into a truck to take them to a next location, because we're going to a next location anyways. So here we are loading stuff from one location to another, saying, we'll share with you. There we go. And this is this location of, again, Maggie, who's our coordinator from Urban Plunge, Chicago. Little Ann, who has a wonderful ministry. Ava, a wonderful team who have helped in our little team. All right, next page, okay. During some free time in the evening, we created what we call blessing bags. Of course, in my first missionary trip, so I didn't know if this is something common. It might be, but we had Ziploc bags, and we just filled them with things that people might need if you're homeless. I had a couple special for women, I had a couple extra needs, we had other things for men. Toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorant, facial cream, wash, things that you think just, how could you survive without them? And as we prepared each day, after we packed our bags for our own lunches, we always had some type of time together. We went into the gospel, we listened to some music, read some scripture, prepared our hearts for this. And the morning that we knew we were going to prepare the blessing bags and go to Chicago, this was the scripture that Maggie picked out for us. And boy, did it hit home. So again, 1 Corinthians chapter 12, 22, 25. Those parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and the parts that we think are less honorable, we treat with special honor. And those parts that are unpresentable are treated with special modesty, while the presentable parts need no special treatment. But God has put the body together, giving greatest honor to those parts that lacked it, so that there should be no division in the body, but that its parts should have equal concerns for each other. And we sat there and prepared ourselves to be humble. Okay, so there we are on the floor packing our bags. And we have little hearts, like we said, God sees you and loves you. Just a little message. That's all you need to know. And we're packing all these bags, and we load up just those reusable bags, like many of them, and pack the entire back seat of the van full of these bags. And we set off to drive downtown Chicago. We got to Chicago. Maggie, of course, is from that area. She knows a lot of people. She actually had met one man that she had named MacGyver. It's not his real name, I don't believe, but they just know each other so well from when she drops off these bags that we were going to find MacGyver somewhere along the way, and we found one of the people. So here we are, just approaching people, the bags. We have bags of blessings. We're just walking up, introducing ourselves, saying, can we pray for you? We have some things you'd be interested, kind of show what's in the bags. Most people were very, very happy to receive those. Some people said no, thank you.
Yeah, some of the people in that internment were like hiding.
Yeah, they actually said, I see people coming, I don't think I want to be here. And it could be, like, just their background, maybe they don't want people to know they're there. Or maybe they don't want to be around them. That's okay. We don't want to be intrusive. It was more of a quiet entry, an announcement. If you'd like something, we have something.
Maybe everybody else isn't as nice.
That's true. They didn't know our intent. So we can keep flipping through a couple pictures, and this is where some people are just greeting, talking, and we spent some time with people. Again, not a long period of time. We tend to get to welcome ourselves, to an area and feel like, okay, how long do you want to talk? Move on. Believe it or not, everyone seemed they understood who Christ was, and we were from a church. They were very welcoming. Again, the people we spoke to. And I thought this was great. Not today, Sam.
Yeah.
That's just the attitude. A lot of people were just misplaced, out of place, but they had not left their faith. We'll keep going. Just more examples. And we actually had some leftover pizza. I had pizza handing out to people. The number one thing people wanted was blankets and water.
And Ann gave us blankets, right? Little
Yes.
Ann gave us a
When
bunch
we were
of
in,
blankets.
like the little Ann, and we said we could use some, we're going down to see the homeless in Chicago tonight. So like, well, I have a whole bunch of blankets, you're gonna need them. Like,
Yeah.
but it's summer and it's hot. Who's gonna want blankets? It was the strangest thing. So I went to Chicago with an air mattress. She a small blanket, right? Didn't take anything heavy because it's hot, right? Well, the first night I was cold. Clyde had an extra blanket, and we were sleeping on concrete floors in just an air mattress. Okay, believe it or not, the cold from the concrete went up through my air mattress, and I was not comfortable. I mean, I was uncomfortable because I just had that cold going through me. So I took her blanket, my blanket, one went under me now, and one went on top. That was much more comfortable. Here I am receiving blankets for Ann to give to people who are sleeping on the concrete. I was uncomfortable. Living on an air mattress and cooler than I expected. They had nothing. They're sitting on concrete. Everyone wanted blankets. I understood why they wanted blankets. It's 90 degrees out there at night, it's cold. They want blankets and softness, a little bit of cushion and the warmth. So water and blankets. Here I met a mother of two from Venezuela. Of course we couldn't speak the language together, did not matter. She saw me coming, she saw I had things in my hand. I kind of pointed to her baby, beautiful baby, a little girl, and I basically started getting her things, and it just wasn't enough.
She was leaping for joy. We were across the street in the van, and you could see the joy.
Yeah, so I ran back to the van like, wait, I need more. And Clyde's like, here, she's like, give me more, come back with more bags, like, you need these, like, wait, this is a special bag for you, you probably need this. Pointing to special supply, like, oh, yes, kind of thing. We're just talking, and before I was done with this, the kids are opening up the food and eating. You can tell they were hungry. The water's open, they were drinking. I just couldn't give them enough. I didn't want to leave.
That was the highlight of the trip for me, right there. This woman, she blossomed and bloomed. She had a little bit of concern going into this whole event, and she just, the Holy Spirit, just, it was awesome. It was amazing.
It was awesome. Is that the one daughter? And the emotional figure of the baby. And then our last place we went is called Anointed World International Ministries. They provide like a church venue for people from many nations and backgrounds to worship the Lord. It's like an open door. You can use our church, and people are using upstairs sanctuary, the downstairs sanctuary. I never thought about that before. If you had a structure, and you had churches for people who might be immigrants, or they don't have a place to go, they would just come in and use this. And they had their own services, like the church itself. There's like an open door policy. It was amazing, the thing that never entered my mind that people would need. So, they also maintained a food pantry. A lot of people had food pantries available. You tell these are places in need. So what we did in this location was we painted their basement. And I felt bad because I told everyone we had to really prime well. So everyone's on their knees, priming. We are priming these bare concrete walls. We're priming plaster walls. We are then painting. It was just a very dull, cement-looking pantry. The probably was fine, but they just wanted it to look brighter. So we'll go through the pictures and show you like the floor has this basic wall, okay? And then we are priming, and now we're putting this beautiful yellowish gold color. And we'll keep going. And of course I'm washing out brushes, which I thought I washed a lot of brushes. And this is what it looks like afterwards. Amazing what this a little bit of paint. Again, it's just So people coming to get food from the pantry have a little nicer place to go. So people who work there have a little nicer place to go. We're there to help the people who help the need in that vicinity. It was interesting, the sign we have is that all that you do will be done in love. So that was our repeating job. And then just let you know, we had a lot of fun. We worked hard, I mean, we really worked hard. But Chicago was fun. We went out and had some great food at two locations, which I don't know much about Chicago. One was Portolitos, one was Giordano's, world famous pizza, and then it's actually Hog Wild, put that backwards. But we'll move forward. So here's the pizza, true deep dish pizza. We loved it. It was fun that night. We'll keep flipping through. And that's how thick it really is. And then here's a very famous hot steak sandwich. I guess you're at Philadelphia or Chicago. It was delicious.
Italian, yeah.
And then this is Hog Wild, home of the huge and tender sandwich. And we go in there and we're having our meal. And I have an example, I think Paul, this is yours, right? Is this what you ordered?
Yeah, it was the pork special.
That's the pork
yeah.
special.
Oh, wow.
Pork is the
Stuffed
thing.
pork chop. Man,
That's funny.
I couldn't finish it.
Yep, and then we did visit the bees. So we did see a little bit of Chicago. People think about Chicago, the bean, I guess, is a famous sculpture there. We did see the bean, so we did have a lot of fun enjoying the city by itself as well. But in summary, I guess you could say that I was excited to go on this trip. God blessed me and everyone on team with us. We made some very good friends that we'll never forget. Both here in Memorial Park. Thank you. I never had a chance to meet Claudia and Chuck before. We got closer together. Kevin and Paul, I know them pretty well. Got to know much better. Maggie, I feel like I will always get to see her somewhere online and know that she's there doing what she does so very well. And her name's Maggie Power, but we call her our powerful friend. She is just awesome. The Urban Plunge community, in regards to how they prepare people to come in for short trips to actually help those who are helping others, was an awesome design. I'm very analytical, so of course, I'm not saying I normally critique or think of improvement, but I'm just wired to do that, right? It was great. It was just so well thought out. Maggie was awesome, and she was just, again, like us, just normal people doing what you can to help others who are helping others, right? So there goes Maggie, we love her. And if you do have the opportunity to go, of course, on a mission trip, we always say,
We're
go
already
on.
booked for next year.
Yeah.
June 14 through 21, it's in the books, we put down our down payment.
Okay.
We're ready to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
Chicago again?
Chicago again.
Yeah, it was-
Same trip with the same host.
Well, you're gonna love Maggie, yeah. So
Might be
we're-
a different events, but.
Yeah, it all depends what Maggie finds that these other ministries need to tell them, can help them with. But it was an awesome event. And then I have a chance to relive this by actually putting together these pictures for you. And I will always think fondly of this opportunity. And keep in mind, God already said go. And there's no word in the Bible that says, well, it all says go. Go, 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 go. I'm not gonna read all the scriptures that say go, because there's a lot of them. So unless God says no, and God will close doors when He wants those doors closed. If the door is open, we are to go, right?
That's good.
So any questions, comments? Hopefully give you an overview of what this specific ministry was. Again, Urban Plunge, subdivision of Christ for the City International. That's for the domestic part compared to the international part.
Diana
What's this?
Garrett, who's with us this weekend, her ministry is through Christ for the City International.
Right, in
Costa Rica.
The Costa
Yeah.
Rica trip was also through the international version. It was the Christ for City International. Just they organized things well. I had great levels of confidence of security, faith, love. It's a lot of love. A lot of worshiping God around us. If you guys are interested, I do have, I know it's going out of time. If you want to look more at the little pamphlet we used as a journal, I thought it was a really nice write-up for discovering homelessness. So in case you want to have extra time, I know people have to get ready to go toward their end. But I'll read you a couple things if you don't mind about homeless, and then you can see how, we're talking about how you can discover your calling. I thought Urban Plunge did a great job of maybe people who were interested in teens. We had exposure to teens, children, prison outreach, homeless, the hungry, there's a lot of different types of venues and ministries that might have touched your heart somewhere saying, yes, like Paul, Chuck would say, you know, we have right now here, repurpose, thrift stores. I mean, that's raising money to help people for, you know, women in freedom. So it does help you discover your calling. And there might be one missionary event that calls you stronger. And there are equivalents to what we did is not Chicago. What we did was everywhere. There are places everywhere, even here in North Hills and Pittsburgh, we've had done similar things. And what Urban Plunge wants you to do is get experienced with these types of getting away from Dodge, whatever your crazy life is like, and we all have crazy lives, being immersed for an extended period of time, and then feel refreshed, let God work through you, and come back. And if you can continue locally, of course, Kevin Seals, our local outreach coordinator, we talked to Kevin, like, you know what? Ty talked about, say, well, we have an equivalent here of, you know, Isaiah's Kitchen. Really? Yes, Isaiah's Kitchen. Every, third Friday, Thursday, whatever it was, he can give you opportunities that you don't have to go to Chicago or Virginia Beach or Costa Rica or something. You can do equivalents here. So if you're interested in looking at this, you can.
Hey, they're developing this program. This is a fairly new thing that Christ for the City's doing. And so there's a new coordinator and they're developing new programs to help us before we go and during. So this is something that's really designed for youth, but I called them up and said, hey, you know, we've got a group of older people, can you tailor it towards us? And they did. So we worked with them a long time and again, they're developing it.
Yeah. So again, if you want to look at this, you can look at the homeless information here, which is amazing. The average age of a homeless person in America is, what do you think, what age? Average age of a homeless person in America?
30.
9.
9.
Oh.
Children.
Oh.
Oh.
Those are the kind of things that was staggering. So if you want to look at this, you can. It just makes you think, oh my gosh. Right? I mean, there's 3.5 million people homeless every night. 40% of them serve in the military. I mean, this is very interesting information you get. It's kind of an eye-opening experience. All right. Any other questions or comments? Of course, we have Chuck, we have Claudia, and Paul, if you have questions for them as well.
Patty, I just want to say thank you to the team for sharing and for putting words and pictures to an experience, which I think is very, very difficult to do. Because obviously you were so moved by just the words and the pictures, and then because you were moved, it made me really think like something happened in between the pictures and you and your experience. There are gaps everywhere nobody can take that away from you.
Right.
And I just think how precious for each one of you that experience is. That, I just think that there's a sacred part of that. But I also was thinking that, you were here 1 week. And a lot of times people think missionary, I can't go somewhere for 3 years and uproot my, you were there 1 week.
Yes, Sunday morning through actually
Sunday-
Friday night, so it's even less than a whole week.
Less than a week.
Yeah.
And seeing the impact of that in earthly and heavenly gains is really something to think about if you've never been on a trip and you think, well, I can't do that, I can't. 1 week, 5 days. I find that really.
We're gonna do Saturday to Saturday this next time so that we can go to one of the churches with the people. That was one of the elements that would have just been icing on the cake.
Oh,
right?
yeah, to worship at the.
Yeah, and I like how you both articulated, you can't put to words the experience, you have to experience it. And you both did a great job of articulating that, but it's nothing like the experience.
Right, it's not the task.
It's
And yes, you can
transformational.
see what we did. And actually, Albany is able who probably can't do most of what we did. There's some people with limited abilities in regards to physical things, like lifting things or reaching
Right.
high or whatever, but we had a good time painting, right? Chuck said, never paid for it. Now he knows how to paint, right? You're ready to go home and paint. Right? So, but we
Yeah, I
did
got put to work, Tricia's like, you're doing all this stuff there, what about here?
Average, but that wall.
Yeah, you can do that.
That's great, that's great.
Learning experience, yeah.
Yeah.
We were
Yeah.
average people doing average things,
Yeah.
but it was not an average response. It was not an average.
It's transformational.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was the time between the tasks and during tasks. It wasn't the tasks, it was the growing together, right?
Mhm.
It was the seeing the world through God's eyes. So much differently than my eyes. You know, and Maggie being prepared each morning and having a devotional
She was awesome.
puts you in the kind of, right? We're not going to paint the basement. Well, we are, but we're not, right?
Mhm.
Well, there's some stuff food and bag. Well, we are, but we're not,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And the people we met, I'll never forget. I mean, seriously, if I see them on the street, like, you know, man, how's John? You know, you feel like you've got these people's families as part of your family. It's been just
Mhm.
4 hours, you know. Or Priscilla, who created this wonderful place for these teens at Thieves Bridge. She could be from Wexford. She could be from
Mhm.
Pine, you know. Hey, Priscilla, how did you do this? How did you create such a huge, beautiful place for teens?
Mhm.
Yeah. God did. It worked. Anything else?
Thank you, thank you.
Huh? Yes, this is just our discovery journal. Yeah. Yes, Angie. Do you have a question?
That's very good.
Yep, you need to get going.
What was your highlight, Patty?
Oh, you know, it's hard to say.
That Venezuelan woman, your interaction with her was my highlight for
It was definitely
sure.
one of the ones, for sure. I have a hard time remembering it.
Yeah, you had me crying when you were reading that scripture. I felt the presence of the Lord in your heart.
Come on with me.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know?
Really,
I have
yes.
an extra bedroom.
So the message is, y'all need to go on some of these trips. You won't regret it, right?
No.
You won't. Go on the right one. Not everyone's designed to go on every trip, but I love the way that you framed it. The door's open unless the Lord says no, go. Jesus' command to us was go. So,
All right. You did a great job, Paul. Thank you. See?
We
All
did a
right.
great talk.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow.
Yeah,
Pam.
very well done, yeah.
Thank you, guys.
I'm glad you guys came to learn more about it. So
Yeah.
if you're interested, make sure to talk to Kevin Steele again is our local outreach coordinator, and of course Paula is our general missionary coordinator. They have all the dates for things coming up. And I'm glad to plan things in advance so you can work your vacation and you're around it. All right.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you,
seemed,
dear.
it seemed incredibly organized, right?
It
You're
was-
constantly on the go.
It was highly
Yeah.
organized. I have
Right.
spreadsheets.
Morning.
Maggie's a
Yeah, right,
spreadsheet
yeah.
person.
What's
I
that?
love spreadsheets. She knew what we were gonna do. But you know what? Everything changed. And that's where it wasn't so structured to the point where this is exactly what we did. It was more like, you know, well, okay, we had a storm. People were out of power. And someone else needs us more. So we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. Or
Yeah.
they need us stronger. Or it didn't matter. Like she knew these ministries so well. And she knew if they needed something, we just changed,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
And she rode with us in advance, she ate with us. She
Was the sleeping on the floor with the air mattress part of the experience too, I guess, huh? Cause I was surprised, I thought, well, we'll get a hotel room every night, but look at that, huh?
It changed, like it took you out of your norm,
Yeah.
right? Now keep in mind, I am a camper, so I used to go like to shower and say, okay, there's a little shower right there and a little bit of water, I'm fine.
One night my mattress lost all air.
Well, that's hard, it's like he's sleeping on the, you know, the boxing ring, you know?
Yeah.
That's a rough night, it'll be for
Yeah.
me anyhow.
Right.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone really had we really didn't really encounter any issues, but all the challenges we had, like, you know,
Yeah.
power outages and roads being blocked. And then, by the way, it happened to also be a semi that fell off of Interstate 80 onto the highway, very close to where we were. So even that, we couldn't get around because like the highways were blocked off. Like how it fell off the ramp, this is strange. Again, you may not see it in your news, but in Chicago, it's all over the place, like Chicago, you know, semi, right off of the interstate ramp, Interstate 80, right where.
Yeah, my experience in Chicago was sitting in traffic, that's what my experience
Right.
is, just sitting there.
Right.
You're 5 lanes going one way, sitting,
We
waiting.
weren't really
Exactly.
necessarily where most people were.
What's that?
We're in the southeast side of Chicago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, yeah. But I did not feel like it was unsafe at all, which I'm a very.
That's good. I actually wondered that when they announced it, like, where are you gonna?
Oh, I was like, oh my gosh. Good deal. bad guy, Leroy Brown, you know?
How long did you spend with the homeless people? I just curious.
That's a good question.
Not
So
long
I have no
enough.
sense of time, so. How long was it?
I'm not sure. but
Several hours.
It wasn't, it didn't seem like it was long enough. I mean,
Yes.
I think.
I wanna keep going.
Yeah,
And Maggie's like, and what is interesting is since Maggie knows the area, and she does this so often.
Yeah.
You know, we're driving down Chicago looking for any kind of campus. They were moving campus around because of the Democratic convention.
Oh.
So things weren't like normally where they were, people had to move. So she's trying around to find the people, especially MacGyver, the people she knew, people, you know. So we were driving and we found someone, you know. She's like, yeah, I had Paul Park right here. And literally, we're in the middle of the road, we'd all jump out and go. But a couple places, she goes, no, keep driving. She knew that those people standing there weren't the people we should be serving for some reason. But those and those are fine. And there were a couple, I was like, her sense of God leading her or knowing the area or knowing maybe how people were acting or something, it's best sometimes to safer to move. And I think when Paul said I was probably the most changed about this, again, I'm very analytical, and my mother, like, how do I know what, you know, these people have been touching, breathing, what's on the floor, what's on the, you know. I had a lot of insecurity of running around Southside Chicago in a van and jumping out by myself, right?
Right.
We never by ourselves, of course. Kevin was there, someone was there all times. You know, we went together as probably a group. We went, but Maggie, her being there, gave us the sense of security. And the same thing, we went to the boxing ring. First thing I was like, stop! I'm walking around the outside of the building. That's how I think. I walk around the building. I try all the doors. They locked, not locked. Some things that gave me the sense of like they would not have brought me here if I wasn't safe. But just by looking around, it wasn't mechanical township. You mean? Yeah.
Maggie has a team, like it's Maggie and
Maggie is
like she's not by herself doing all this, is she?
She is. From Chicago perspective, she is. So Urban Plunge has like a whole presence in multiple large cities. She is the person in Chicago.
In Chicago.
Yes, and she was hoping that some people would be helping her out. I don't know how things will grow over time. Correct me if I'm the state aid thing. I know that she's hoping Brooke, the one of the ladies who actually lives up above Barry in the Philly Gap.
Yeah.
She is feeling the call to assist in some ways.
That's a lot for one person.
yeah, as I remember, there was supposed to be 2 people. Maggie was one of them. She did like half the job, and then somebody else was doing the other half. Well, they moved on to something else, so Maggie was having to do it all of herself, but she's part of an organization. I think they're based in Denver. They're based somewhere else. They're not based in Chicago. I mean, the headquarters
Right.
Yeah.
are somewhere else, because I know when the power went out, she had to get permission from, I think she said Denver.
Is Omaha.
Omaha.
Yeah, Omaha.
Yeah, Omaha.
To move us.
You know, so we can move to another facility. So, I mean, she's not totally alone. I mean, she has.
No,
you know,
she's
corporate.
connected to a network, but
To
in
whole-
Chicago, she is.
She's the one in
she's
Chicago.
the point guard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an incredible amount of work.
She needs help.
And
Yeah.
she's a real estate agent on the side.
Oh my gosh.
A
There
small
you go.
agent trying to